The Giants go against the Saints in preseason action.
Thursday, August 11th, 1977. The long search for Son of Sam may be over.
We'll have a complete report on the events which began breaking early this morning.
Witnesses have seen the individual, but from a distance.
He picks out his people, like, you know, that he's going after, and I think he might even wait for them, you know.
Scares you.
I learned late today from investigative sources that the young couple was actually locked in an embrace when suddenly the madman with the gun struck.
20-year-old Stacy Moskowitz was shot to death in a parked car near the Belt Parkway.
Detectives of the Special Homicide Task Force
added the new incident to the previous 6 shootings.
Now this guy has got to be stopped somehow or some way.
The search for the killer has evolved into a painstaking guessing game for police.
It was the craziest time in local news coverage.
The killer will leave clues, but to leave clues, he'll have to attack again.
Killer to cops, I'll do it again.
News media interviews with alleged witnesses to previous Son of Sam killings have already terrified other witnesses into silence.
No one is safe from Son of Sam. That headline stoked fear in the hearts of millions of people who picked it up, and it was millions of people.
It was, you know, we didn't have the internet then, but it would have been like the story going viral every day.
It began in the Bronx on July 29, 1976. 18-year-old Donna Loria was shot to death.
At that time, we still didn't know there was a serial killer.
October 23, 1976, 20-year-old Carl De Niro was shot in the head.
We didn't know there was a pattern. In fact, it wasn't until almost about 4 months later that the police announced that a .44 caliber gun was being used in all these shootings.
We have determined that there has been a .44 caliber revolver used in every one of them.
Then for a while, he became the .44 caliber killer.
Police Commissioner Codd indicated that the same man may be the murder suspect in perhaps 3 or 5 killings of young women.
Clearly he had something in for women, although he shot men too. But women seemed to be his victims of choice.
Really, it seemed like he was targeting dark-haired women with wavy long hair.
Many young brown-haired women in Queens are worried about their safety because of the .44 caliber killer.
I had that kind of hair. I was petrified.
Why is the gunman going out to kill? Why only young women with long brown hair?
I don't feel free to go out, to walk the streets or go out at all.
Most of them had their hair cut or they pinned their hair up.
And I did pin my hair back. But the frenzy built up when the letters started going to the newspapers.
In this letter to Jimmy Breslin, he mentioned the King of Wicker.
The fact that he did court the media unquestionably suggests that he looked forward to these stories appearing about him in the press.
Because of the publicity and the attention he's getting, he starts to thrive on this.
He was getting off on it. I mean, that was pretty clear. And that's what made it so frightening, too.
This man is a very strange, eccentric, evil man.
I think he should be killed. I think he should be executed. I think he should be punished for all his crimes.
Eventually, when he finally identified himself in a letter as the Son of Sam, that name stuck.
The maniac who calls himself Son of Sam.
Son of Sam.
Son of Sam.
Son of Sam. Son of Sam.
And then sort of the horror escalates to a whole new level because now there's a name.
There was a lot of taunting going on and trying to confuse people about who he was.
A police artist sketched this face from eyewitness accounts.
The sketches were so different, so it was confusing. Who was this guy?
He didn't resemble the recent set of sketches.
He's everywhere, it seems. You know, he's showing up in Queens, he's showing up in Brooklyn.
He was all over the map. He wasn't just concentrating in one single place.
Police say there seems to be some kind of vague cycle to the attacks by this killer, but so far there's no method at all to the different locations where he's striking.
He was kind of saying to the cops, come get me, and they didn't know how.
Are you encouraged at this time, Commissioner?
Yes, I am encouraged.
Why?
I'm encouraged because of the quality of many of the leads that we're getting from people. They turn out to be unproductive, but it does give us an opportunity to look at someone.
You just felt the police presence getting more intense. I believe at one point there were 300 investigators on the Son of Sam task force.
Commissioner Carr tells me that an order is going out to the entire police force and that it's going to stay as long as this case is open.
It seemed like this guy was going crazy. And now he's into full-scale shoot, shoot, shoot.
Christine Freund by the movie theater in Forest Hills. Then a few weeks later, a college student, Virginia Voskerichian. There was a shooting at the Elephas Disco in Bayside.
There were 4 shots. The young woman was badly wounded.
When Stacy Moskowitz was killed, Robert Violante, her date, survived.
He told me that they decided to go into the park to kill some time. When they decided to leave, they saw this fellow in the park. He noticed that he was looking at him. I believe that's when it happened.
Do you have any ill feeling, any bitterness toward the man who shot your son?
No, all I'm concerned about is my son.
What would you say to that man, that Son of Sam?
All I could say is I wish he would only give himself up.
I find it remarkable how he was caught. He got a parking ticket.
David Berkowitz walked out of his Yonkers apartment last night, turned the ignition key in his car, and found himself surrounded by police.
You took your guns out, surrounded the car, and said what to him?
Stand fast, police.
Such a sigh of relief when they finally got him.
I feel great. I think the people of our city will feel great relief.
I think what's scary is that somebody as normal looking and sane looking as David Berkowitz could be capable of such utter evil.
It was later, after his arrest, that he claimed the dog caused him to do this and that demons were behind this.
Bringing Satanism to it, bringing sort of the ritual and bringing this notion of a demonic dog giving him instructions. I mean, it just added a level of fear and a level of, tapping the supernatural that made it all the more disturbing.
I think he created a persona and he invented something for himself. I don't know whether he was into just getting notoriety, and it worked. I mean, he captivated the city.
Coming up, Queen Elizabeth ends her Northern Ireland visit and embarks on a cruise.